Hello, my name is Cassy and welcome to my YouTube channel. It's my first YouTube video that I've ever recorded myself. I plan on doing a story time today while doing my makeup. I was on my second day at a new job and it went buck wild. If you want to hear a very random story from some random chick you've never seen before, keep on watching, subscribe, thumbs up, all that jazz. Oh my god, I curse too much. I'm gonna end up cursing in this video more than I probably should, so. Also, I don't want to hear about these. I already know. They look like shit. I need a new set. RIP to the fallen nails. Will you knock it off? Sorry, this is Toast. Very disruptive right now. Say hi to YouTube, Toast. Yeah. Let's start off with the job that I had. So I've been working in the cannabis industry. I was working at a shop out in another area that was a little too far to get to because I ended up moving further away and I ride public transit. It was just getting too difficult, so I decided to apply to other places. I get an interview at a shop closer to where I have moved to. I had literally applied, day later, interview, sweet, boom. I'm like, hell yeah, I need to get away from the job that's hella far away. Anyways, just cause it was making it to where I was having 13-hour days. The interview goes great, and in the interview, they're discussing how they like to follow the rules, and that's something for me when it comes to the industry I'm working in. I like following the rules. It sounded like a place I'd want to work, right? He goes, I really like the way you're answering our questions, blah, 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 blah. Here's the new hire paperwork. We'd love to have you on. So I'm like, oh, okay. I was not expecting to get offered a position on the spot. So I explained that I'm still at where I'm currently at working. I'm gonna give notice. Yeah, that's no worries. When can you start training? Well, next Thursday. So in about 7 to 9 days, I'm gonna be starting my training. I end my job at the other location that I was working at. I reach out to the place I had gotten hired at and let them know okay, Thursday and the other day that we were scheduled to train, I'm down. And then also, if you do want to do some more training, let me know, I am free. They're like, cool, sweet, we can use all hands on deck. That's no problem. Sorry if you can't hear me because the freaking mirror. I'm gonna find this out after, so bear with me on my first YouTube video. I'm excited, right? My other job's over, don't have to go so far to work anymore. I get told that I need to come in early on my first day, come in for a badge. And I'm like, okay, cool, I have no problem doing that. I come in early, I'm waiting. I get greeted from the people working the front, but I then have to wait for somebody to come get me to start my day because it is my first day. This is my first time being inside the shop since I got offered the position. 15 minutes later, I have 2 women walking up to me, neither of which were in my interview. That's okay. To be honest, the person who did my interview didn't tell me their position. I knew that they were obviously higher up, but I didn't know exactly who they were. Someone comes up to me. She has a little thing, a little sheet of paper that shows a 4-digit code. She goes, you're gonna use this code to clock in. And then she goes, we're gonna change names. This is Joe. Joe is going to train you today. And I was like, okay, cool. Joe goes to take me to clock in. I'm trying to clock in. I'm having difficulty and I don't know why. And neither do they. They don't know why either. So we're trying. We eventually get me clocked in. You have to clock in 15 minutes early to your shift. So if your shift is scheduled 2 o'clock, you actually start at 1:45. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't make sense. Why don't you just schedule 1:45? Whatever. Go put my stuff in the back where the lockers are. We get me a locker and then it's just chaos from there on my first day. I have been working in the industry, so I know of POS systems and I know of products, but there's a lot out there. So much, just like any other industry, there's so much, it's unbelievable, just like makeup, right? What kind of makeup look do I feel like today? By the way, I sweat like crazy. So if you do see pit stains, these overactive sweat glands in my armpits, shout out to them. I have Kendrick Lamar stuck in my head so bad right now. Blue? I never do blue looks. Let's do blue. watch, I completely do a terrible job on my makeup on the first time I do a YouTube video. That'd be fucking hilarious. So, she looks at me and she goes, do you know how to use this POS system? Funny enough, the POS system that they're using is one I've used before. So I said yes. At this point, I've been on the clock with her for probably like 15 minutes, right? And I'm like, holy, like, am I gonna sit down with somebody? Because right now at this point, it's just been her and I, like, for 15 minutes, she's been like, so we're gonna go grab a walkie-talkie, here's an ear set, follow me here, and then next thing you know, she goes, and this is all within that 15 minutes, and she goes, okay, we're gonna go on the floor. No one has sat me down to talk about their policies, their procedures. They haven't talked, nobody sat me down to talk about anything like that. So then she gives me a quick rundown on how they handle the floor and how they handle customers. And within 10 minutes of that, I am already solo helping customers when I don't even know everything that they have or where it is at or even necessarily how they do things. I am so uncomfortable in the sense of not able to do my job. That's how out of place I felt. And I know how to do my job, but without the proper training, I felt so alone. And when I was vocalizing that I didn't feel like I was getting properly trained, it was just kind of like, it's not hard. I'm sitting here like, I know it's not hard. That's not what I was saying. I was saying that like, I just feel like I don't know this store enough to be able to just start going, like helping customers full blown by myself. I end up going through this whole shit. I have multiple, not panic attacks, anxiety attacks, because I literally feel so lost and so alone. I felt so freaking alone. People saw that I was struggling and they still didn't necessarily care. And no issue with Joe, but Joe was so flustered because Joe didn't expect to work that day and Joe didn't know they were training and Joe was short-staffed. So I felt bad for them, right? At the same time, I'm like, what the heck? I get through this 8-hour shift and I'm just like exhausted. I'm so speechless when it comes to the fact that I cannot believe I wasn't properly trained whatsoever. Next shift is gonna be an open shift because I was scheduled to work Thursday and then Sunday. Like I had said, I reached out to them letting them know I was available to do other training days, and they said we would talk on Thursday about it. I'm there Thursday. I don't meet an actual manager, like not a supervisor, an actual manager of the store until the last 10 minutes of my shift that Thursday. So on my very first day, I didn't meet my manager on duty until the end of my shift. The person training me was just my shift supervisor. I end up going through the shift and no one talks to me about working the next days. So I'm like, well, I have a set schedule after this, so I might as well enjoy a Friday, Saturday before they're not my Friday, Saturdays anymore because they were gonna be taken away. My off days were gonna be Monday, Tuesday. And I had already agreed to that. That was not unbeknownst to me. I get there on Sunday. Keep in mind, this is my first open shift, so I still don't know what to expect. And so I get there 15 minutes, well, 20 minutes early because the way public transit worked for me. I go in the back, I put my stuff away, and then I realize that no one else is there. And now it's a couple minutes before everyone's supposed to clock in. And there's no manager there. There's no one I'm supposed to be like training with. Like there's no direction. 2 other coworkers come in who are not managers. I look on the schedule to see who the shift lead is because apparently that's who's gonna be above me most of the shift. Anyway, so us 3, we're all gonna be working together, but there is no manager there yet. There's no shift supervisor there. So I'm waiting. And then the woman who introduced herself as a manager at the end of my first shift comes in 10 minutes late. No notice, no nothing. I'm standing there with the other 2 coworkers, pretty much ready to start the day because we're opening in 5 minutes and there's already people waiting. See her look at me with this look of like, who are you? You know when someone looks at you like, probably look crazy, but you know when they're like, she was doing that. So I look at her and I'm like, oh, you don't even remember meeting me. So I was like, hi, I'm your new hire. Like, hello, I'm Cassy. And they're like, she's like, oh, hello. Introduces herself again. I was like, okay, well, you don't remember meeting me. That's okay, because you only met me for 2 seconds. Then we go to start our day and we all get the things we need, but I'm explaining to the other 2 people who I'm with that this is only my second day. So I'm still like really trying to get used to this. new shop because I was so thrown onto the floor the first day. And they're like, oh yeah, I can get crazy at night. I was like, yeah, I was pretty much just already told to start working. And it was kind of shocking because I wasn't ready. Like, I didn't feel ready, but I still did it. And I still, like, in my opinion, I killed it. I had a coworker tell me that I did a great job. Another coworker tell me that I did a great job. So I knew that, like, I didn't fail. I helped this girl. She's my first customer. She wants 8 products. I end up ringing up a product that's more than what she wanted because I accidentally grabbed a bigger size. I go back, I exchange the product back out because I see that it is more expensive and it's a bigger product than what she wanted. I go literally physically back to where I was, put that back, grab the smaller amount item, go back, ring them up. On the receipt, I'm looking, making sure there's 8 items. There are 8 items in front of me. I tender her out, she leaves. Keep in mind, we've only been open for about 15 minutes. This manager's been there for 20 minutes. This is my second day. Oh. Let me finish this eye makeup before I continue talking on this story because I'm realizing this is taking me forever and this is going to literally take me all day. But we're back to continue the story. And so what ends up happening is I have an elderly gentleman that I'm helping. He had a complaint about an issue that wasn't my fault the week prior. So he was complaining about something somebody else did the week before. And I had a coworker come over trying to help me. As this coworker is trying to help me with this customer complaint that wasn't my fault, I see the girl that I had helped earlier come back in. So that means there was some sort of issue. And I see my manager talking to her. I'm still with, my coworker still helping me with this man. But then what's interesting is that I look over out of the corner of my eye, and right as I look over to look at the customer that I did originally help myself, and the girl, as I'm just happened to glance over, she goes, "It's an honest mistake. It happens." And so I am like, oh crap, I messed up, right? And now I'm curious what I did wrong. Right as this is happening, and she said it's an honest mistake, the manager looks at the coworker next to me and says, "Hey, you need to keep an eye on her." And then I cut her off because I realized she's talking about me in front of me. And so I go, "Wait, what?" And she goes, "You need to make sure to take your time." And I was like, "What's wrong?" And then she looks at me, she goes, "Have you ever butt tended before?" Hella disrespectfully, as if like there isn't customers all around us. And so I looked at her and I go, "Yeah, why?" And then she goes, "You almost gave away a full product." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "You need to go shadow." And then I go, "You guys need to train me." I said, "I haven't been fully trained. I've been thrown onto the floor since the day I've gotten here." I said, "I would like to be fully trained if this is gonna be," and then she goes, "Go shadow." And I go, "I think I need to go home because I'm uncomfortable with the way that you're talking to me right now." This is all transpiring in front of the customers. And like all of it, like as if no one else is there. It's just me, her, and the coworker. And she then puts her hand up as if like whatever. So then I realize what's happening, and the coworker goes, "If you want to go, go." And I go, "Yeah, I think I need to leave." She doesn't acknowledge me after I walk away from the situation. I said, "I will reach out to the person who hired me." I say their name. I will reach out to them. I go clock out. And then within minutes of me clocking out, she takes me off all of the messenger group chats we had for work. She completely takes me off as if I said I quit, which is what she took it as. So then I reach out to the person who hired me and said, "Hey, I just had a really unfortunate situation at work and it made me very uncomfortable and I had to leave." I left some items there that were, of your guys' property, but I just wanted you to know. And he goes, "I'm sorry to hear that. What happened?" So I tell him what transpired between me and the manager on duty. Keep in mind, I was very much not comfortable with the fact that she was so aggressive about this and couldn't just pull me aside. This was my first real mistake, and this was all in front of customers. I'm brand new still, and that's how she went about it. Her body language, her tone of voice, everything about it was totally not okay, including the fact that she asked me that question in front of our customers while we're trying to do our jobs. That's incredibly not okay. So then I tell him what happens. He responds with, "Well, I understand you not wanting to be somewhere where you're uncomfortable And then he goes, I wish there was something I could do. And then it clicked. I was like, so you guys are really just going to allow this manager? I come to find out this is the general manager. You're allowing her to behave this way, and then there's no repercussions for it, and then I have to swallow it. I couldn't believe it. I've been a manager. I've never spoken to any employee, even an employee I couldn't stand. I've never talked like that to them. And so I realized that there's nothing else going to be done about this, like, at all. I'm like, holy crap, I just lost my job because I refused to let this woman disrespect me. Once I realized what was happening, I was like, okay, that means this is my job? I wouldn't even want to stay. You mean to tell me if I make any mistake, this is how you're going to treat it? I don't care. Like, you couldn't pull me aside to the side office that's literally 10 feet away. Not even 10 feet away, 5 feet away, to pull me into the inventory to talk to me about what I did wrong. Like, she did all of this so unprofessionally. So I was like, all right. And this isn't the first place that I've had some out-of-pocket stuff happen in the cannabis industry. Like, it sucks that something I'm so passionate about hasn't gotten enough on its feet to be the right amount of professional and fun. I honestly have no idea why it's so bad. That's the main story here, is that, like, me not allowing myself to be disrespected resulted in me losing my job at a place that didn't even train me. Craziness, man. My life is actually quite weirdly fascinating, and I want to tell stories about what's happened to me and what's gone on for no reason to YouTube, because I love YouTube. But if you did enjoy this video, if you want to hear more stories about me or learn about me, go ahead and subscribe. And yeah, I hope this wasn't too fucking awkward, and I hope you can hear it, because I don't have a separate mic. I'm just using my goddamn iPhone. So